Today we're going to be doing a full body stretch. The only equipment we're going to need is something firm to sit on. So let's start with some good posture. So I'm going to sit on the edge of my bench, sitting nice and tall. My butt cheeks are pressing down into my bench, but my hamstrings are hanging off. My ankles are right underneath my knees, feet facing forward. All right, let's start with a couple deep breaths. In through the nose. Nice and relaxed back out. You can either exhale through your nose or a relaxed breath down through your throat. One more, nice and deep. Feel your lungs expand, your rib cage out. In. And out. Okay, so we're going to start with our neck. We're going to turn our head, look over the shoulder, and then to the other side. We're going to do 5 each way. Now when I'm doing this, notice how my chest is still staying facing straight ahead to you. 2. 3, 2 to go. 1 more each way. Awesome, back to center. We're going to tilt our ear to the side. This one we're going to do is a static stretch. So I'm going to reach my hand up, grab the top of my head, and pull my ear to my shoulder. I want to feel this stretch on the side of my neck. I'm going to take my opposite hand and press it into the floor. That should intensify that stretch as you reach your hand down. If you want it even more intense, bend your wrist back and spread your fingers, pressing your palm down and away as you pull your ear this way, making sure your spine stays extended. We don't want to be leaning. Good, relax your hand, switch sides. So ear's going to go to shoulder, opposite hand down and away. Create some pressure on the opposite side of the head. Lift the chest, press the hand, relax the shoulders. Good, back to center. One more for the neck here. The neck's so important. We always remember to stretch our hamstrings, but we don't remember to stretch our neck as much, enough. So I'm just going to tuck my chin down here, keeping my spine extended. Reach up to the crown of my head and pull down. I should feel this in the middle of my back. Right between my shoulder blades, maybe even a little bit lower. You may feel this in the back of the neck as well, but those muscles run all the way up the spine. Good, now I'm going to let my spine start to flex and bring my head forward and just reach for the floor. Good, and back up. Okay, we're going to twist next, so I'm just going to turn to one side, twisting my spine. I just got a little cavitation or pop in my low back. I'm going to turn the other way. Now, if you find that your knees are caving together because you're pulling really hard, A, don't pull so hard, but B, you can put a yoga block between your knees and then they wouldn't move. 1 more each way. Big twist, lift the chest. Ooh, another pop. Lift the chest. Good, back to center. Okay, we're going to do one more while we're right in this position. It's going to be the figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to lift my right leg first, cross my ankle over my knee. So I have the outside of my foot sitting on my thigh. Nothing is on my knee. Now, contraindication would be if you feel this in your knee joint, but most likely you're feeling it on the outside of your hip here. You might be feeling that on your inner thigh as well. But what we're really stretching is the outside of the butt cheek. So notice how I'm square for the most part. We can fix that a little bit. So I don't want to be all cockeyed or leaning or anything like that. I want my posture positive, nice and tall. And then I can increase my stretch by applying just a little pressure here. I actually prefer just to leave my arms sitting there and relax rather than trying to drive that down, which causes your spine to flex to the side. I'm going to sit tall, pull my foot in a little tighter. So I'm bringing my foot back toward my opposite hip. Now that could be where your knee might jump in a little bit, so be careful there. But notice how much more level I got when I did that. Okay, so now we're going to take that stretching legs arm and reach through the triangle and forward fold. Now I'm starting to feel that a little bit on my inner thigh here, as well as into my back. So I'm just relaxing and trying to bring my chin to my chest and touch the button of my hat to my foot. And by try, I mean let gravity help me. If I need a little extra assist, I can grab my stretching legs arms wrist, and then just apply a little pressure pulling down. Okay, let's come on back up and we'll switch sides. So we'll do that whole sequence on the opposite leg. So I'm going to lift my leg. Foot goes on top of my quad here, sitting nice and tall. Proper alignment, no twist, no lean. And apply just a little bit of weight. Core is still engaged. I feel my obliques firing here. I'm not just hanging out. And I just got my watch sitting on my knee, just letting it push down lightly. I'm going to slide my foot back in just a little bit more. Extend my spine again. So this time I'm not feeling this side on the inner thigh. I felt that kind of rotate around that butt cheek a little bit more. Okay, let's reach through the triangle and down, tuck the chin. I'm going to grab my left wrist just below my watch and just pull a little bit. I'm just pulling very lightly with my right hand. Good, and sit up nice and tall. You know, we're going to do one more while we're seated here. We're going to take our hands and just place them on the back side of your bench and just open up, lifting your chest. So I'm aiming my chest toward the camera, looking up. I don't have a bunch of weight back on my fingers. My weight's still on my butt. They're just there. Open up my shoulders. Good, back in. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see what that one looks like here. Lift. All right, not a lot of pressure. And relax. Here, I'll do one more. Lift. Open my hands. Reach them to the sky. Good, roll my shoulders. Okay, so I'm gonna move my box out of the way. You can kick your chair out of the way. Okay, so you're gonna cut off my face here, but that's okay, you don't really need to see that anyway. We're gonna work mostly on the hamstrings and the hips next. So let's go ahead and start with our forward fold. I'm gonna bring my left foot forward. My hips are going to be square. And I'm gonna reach down. I'm gonna come back up. I'm gonna step my opposite foot forward and forward fold. Now on this side, my hips want to run that way, but I'm not going to let them. And then back up. We're going to do 5 of these per side. That's 1. Step your left foot forward, reach for the floor, and up, and right foot forward. Hips are square. This side I feel a lot more on the outside of my hamstring. Where do you notice that you feel a difference from side to side? My knee is slightly bent, both knees are slightly bent, my back leg a little bit more. halfway home. Now by rep 4, I'm all the way down on the floor, but rep 1, I couldn't get there. Do you notice that you're a lot more flexible now? Good, we're gonna open our feet up about 2 to 3 times shoulder width, and we're just gonna shift the hips side to side. I'm getting a little inner thigh stretch. I also feel a little butt stretch here while I do this. Yep, so notice how I'm tipping my pelvis. That's a little tricky, but my pelvis is now facing this way, right? I'll keep my hands here so you can see where my waistline is. Good, I'm gonna reach my hand up over my head now. All the way over to the side for a big stretch on my flank as well as my adductors here, and I'll switch sides. Find my position, reach my hand, big stretch. Oh yeah, it feels great right here. Feels pretty nice here too. This, oh, that's great. Back up. Okay, here's my favorite forward fold. We're gonna cross legs. So one ankle comes in front of the opposite leg. Weight's gonna remain on the back leg. You're gonna take the hand of that back leg and reach it forward for your toes. You can adjust your feet if you need for a little bit more room or balance. And if you find you're tipping, you can just walk back to the wall and put your butt cheeks against the wall and then do that same thing. That works fine, but I'm gonna step back up here so you can see better. You can also always hold on to something, but just try to relax. And again, if you need more stretch, how do you add that? You grab the wrist of the stretching leg and just pull it down lightly. I'm not creating a bunch of tension. Good, and then back up and we're gonna switch sides. So cross over and reach down. I'm really feeling this one on the outside of my butt cheek and my hamstring. What a great combo. Right, last one we're going to do today is going to be for our hip flexors. So step 1 foot forward. We're going to keep both feet facing straight ahead today. Sometimes we turn them. Today they're going to be straight ahead. So notice that my heel on my back leg is a little bit lifted. That's okay, that doesn't really matter. I'm going to find my square and level position. Squeeze my butt cheek, and now I'm trying to push my heel toward the floor. If yours is already there, you're just pushing that heel down, and then you push your front, or your outside hip, your stretching leg's hip forward. So squeezing your knee, pushing your heel down, push your hip forward. I feel that stretch right here. If you're feeling that in your back, squeeze your butt cheek more. Good, let's turn, we'll switch sides. So notice how short my stride is. I don't need to be in this big, long position, all right? I just want to find that nice stretch. So I'm square, level, push my heel toward the floor, make sure I'm square. My body wants to go this way, I'm not going to let it. Push the heel down, feel a nice little calf stretch there too. Feel a little bit in my plantar fascia, but mostly right here on the hips, especially when I squeeze that butt cheek and drive that pelvis forward a little. Let's hold for one more deep breath.